In today's video we are going to take an in-depth look at the first ever truck simulator steering wheel, the gear that will forever change your truck simming experience, Moza TSW or truck sim wheel, paired with Moza R9 direct drive base, the SRP pedals with clutch, the truck mount bracket, HGP shifter, and we'll also take a brief look at Moza ES. I am going to talk about the steering wheel itself, explain the direct drive technology and why is it a game changer for both truck simming and racing. We'll go through the Moza ecosystem and the rest of the setup and finally draw some conclusions. So, starting with Moza TSW, first thing to say is that this steering wheel has extremely high quality materials. It's made of aerospace grade aluminum alloy, and as you are expecting, it is remarkably solid. Around the frame we can find microfiber leather with hand stitching, which is very soft and grippy. The center part is made of a pretty solid plastic that simulates the design of a real-life truck steering wheel, and it looks amazing in my opinion, especially considering it is 400mm wide, so the right size too. We can also find a couple of buttons that are convenient and also backlit, together with the RPM indicator. All the lighting is RGB, so you can customize it the way you like. The mapping of the buttons is also customizable. I have already set them up in ETS2 and didn't feel like I needed more buttons. There is one for everything, and not only that, you can also find 2 scroll wheels and 2 joysticks. I am planning to make a video about the entire setup and mapping process in Euro Truck Simulator 2 because I do have some valuable tips in this regard, so stay tuned. But we cannot have a working steering wheel without a steering wheel base. They sent me the Moza R9 direct drive base, but there are many other options on their website. Some of them are a bit cheaper, some others have much better performance, but I think the R9 is quite a good price performance choice, but it's good to know that you have even better options if you also do professional sim racing. The base has a 9 Nm of torque servo motor, and I am going to take a moment and explain the direct drive technology and why is it so popular nowadays. So, on old steering wheels you had a couple of force feedback motors linked to the steering wheel shaft through gears, or on better steering wheels through a belt system. It had many moving components and it couldn't deliver a very fast and precise force feedback experience. You could actually feel and hear the sound of gears or the resistance of the belt. A direct drive, on the other hand, as the name suggests, brings the steering wheel shaft directly into the force feedback motor without relying on some other mechanical solutions that spoil the servo direction feel. This has a couple of benefits. It feels much smoother and more fluid, just like a real car or truck direction. Thanks to the lack of many other moving parts, the servo motor can now do much more detailed feedback inputs. The direct drive technology also allows for a much faster centering without adding an unnecessary heavy feel. It can be very light and in the same time have perfect precision or an endless adjustable steering angle, for example. This is especially important for truck and bus simulators, and indeed it feels exactly like a real vehicle. This technology finally fills the missing puzzle in truck simming and racing or drifting as well. Also worth mentioning about this base, it is made from aluminum alloy as well, making it very solid. In terms of processing, it has a quad-core architecture that ensures the fastest force feedback calculations, and it has a smart temperature control system to be able to keep it cool and stable even in the most hardcore racing scenarios. Because don't forget, you can attach a normal steering wheel to it and do professional sim racing with the same setup. And this is all possible thanks to Moza Ecosystem. Basically everything you get from them is fully compatible and modular, which adds to the versatility of the setup. You can get all pieces under one ecosystem and quickly switch from racing to truck simming and still have the best hardware for each of them without any compromise. The software is very intuitive. Once you plug everything together, the Moza Pit House, which is available to download on their website, automatically recognizes the hardware. As complicated as it might look, everything worked exactly as it should right from the beginning, and the setup was actually the easiest I have ever encountered so far with a racing wheel. You also have an app for mobile. Once the steering wheel is plugged in and turned on, you just open the app and connect via Bluetooth. Everything works automatically and very fast. Thanks to the app, you can do fine tweaking from inside the game with instant feedback without having to constantly minimize the game, do some tweaks, re-enter and so on. I will definitely show you all my force feedback settings and a couple of tips and tricks in another video, because there is a lot of interesting stuff to show and it totally deserves a separate clip. The SRP pedals with clutch are also very solid and highly modular. You can set up the strength, damper, distance between pedals. Can be used on the floor, on a cockpit, connected to the wheelbase or directly via USB. It has a 16-bit precision magnetic encoder with immense resolution and input detail. It works out of the box without any setup, but they also have every option you need in the Moza pit house once you get a grasp of it and reach an advanced level. And this sums up Moza Ecosystem pretty well, I believe. It's very user friendly for beginners, but highly customizable for pro users. I also opted for an ES steering wheel because, as I said before, I sometimes do drifting or racing. It has the same high quality as the other products. Aluminum, handmade, stitched leather. It's got 22 programmable buttons plus a couple of pedal shifters, an RGB RPM light indicator, and as well as the truck sim wheel, a quick release system. When it comes to the shifter, it is extremely strong. As I mentioned in the unboxing, I won't be using it until I get a cockpit, but at the first sight it is more racing oriented and it has a nice resistance to it. And last but not least, a piece adding a lot to the whole trucking experience, the truck mount bracket. It's made from a very strong material as well and ensures a good angle for the base and truck sim wheel. It's adjustable, it's compatible with all the bases, and in my opinion is just a must for Moza TSW. Coming up to the conclusions, Moza TSW and the whole setup makes up for a fantastic package. As I said before, it does everything perfectly. You don't lose anything when it comes to truck simming, nor when it comes to racing. I know there are a lot of truck sim enthusiasts out there looking for a truck sim wheel, but don't want to lose on other segments, like drifting for example, and this is why this package, or Moza Ecosystem on the whole, is the best combo to find on the market at this point, and I 100% recommend it. For everything you saw in this video, there is a link in the description. Also, if you wanna see the unboxing, you'll have a link on the screen right now, and there will certainly be a ton of future videos with Moza TSW. So until the next one, stay tuned.